Welcome to Blame the Bible study where we actually read all of the horrible parts of Christianity that they don't like to talk about in church. Today's topic is a bit of a sensitive one. I don't want to say the word, but let's just suffice it to say it talks about grapes. Y'all, the Bible is not a book for little children. I really hope you know that. Please do not let your little children read this Bible. Now, I know what you're thinking. Graping is not something that is, against the 10 Commandments. God didn't feel like it needed to be put in there. But surely you're probably thinking the Bible's going to talk about how evil and wrong it is to grape. No, it doesn't. Let's read. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 25. But if out in the country a man happens to meet a young woman pledged to be married and grapes her, only the man who has done this shall die. Why, why would the woman die? Is there a scenario in which the woman should die for that? Ugh, moving on. Do nothing to the woman. She has committed no sin deserving death. This case is like that of someone who attacks and murders a neighbor. For the man found the young woman out in the country, and though the betrothed woman screamed, there was no one to rescue her. I find it a little bit disturbing that they felt they had to spell it out so clearly for people that the woman is not at fault in this situation. I mean, that just seems pretty obvious. These people in the Bible days really did not have a lot of common sense, guys. Moving on, verse 28. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and grapes her, and they are discovered. Wow. Okay, so I guess the first person up in verse 25 who got graped. Wow. Okay, so I guess the first person up in verse 25 who got graped, that grapist needs to die because she was pledged to be married to somebody else. So he has not committed a sin or a crime against the woman. No, he's committed a sin against another man who that woman was betrothed to. That's why they're unaliving this man up here in the top paragraph. Not because of the graping. No, it's because he wronged that other man who she was pledged to be married to. This is making a lot more sense now. But see, if it's a virgin, like down in verse 28, who has not been pledged to be married, in other words, she is not already the property of another man, he is free to grape her all he wants. He just got to pay that 50 shekels of silver to buy her, and then she's his for till death do they part, all right? Lifelong servitude. Y'all, I honestly do not understand how any woman can go to church week after week and crack open this Bible and see passages like this and just let it go. Just say, oh, well, that's how things were back then. Thank goodness it's not like that anymore. It could be, y'all. Modern day Christians tend to say, oh, these horrible things that used to happen way back in the day, that was normal for the culture back then. And it doesn't apply to today. And I'm like, okay, but if that part of the Bible is no longer true and right and does not apply to Christian morality today, then why do these other things from the Bible count for today? Like how Christians say homosexuality is wrong or man dressing as women is wrong because, oh, it's in the Bible. And they want to apply those concepts, those moral guidelines to today's culture. But then things like this Grapist situation, oh no, that was back in the day. Or if they're talking about slavery, oh no, that was for their culture thousands of years ago. It's not talking about today. How do we get to pick and choose which parts of the morality in the Bible qualify and count for today and which ones don't? Because to me, it seems like it's supposed to be an all or nothing kind of deal. This is supposed to be the infallible, holy, true word of God from cover to cover, the Bible, the word of the Lord. But they're doing a whole heck of a lot of picking and choosing, if you ask me. Verse 30, a man is not to marry his father's wife. He must not dishonor his father's bed. They just had to throw that in there at the end because, of course, nobody back in the day had any common sense. But you know what? Looking at Christians going to church nowadays in our modern times, I'm starting to think there's still a whole bunch of people running around here who still don't got a lot of sense, if you ask me. But hey, don't blame me, y'all. It's in the Bible.